For us to reintroduce ourselves, we are the mob, Memphis Over Bull, live every 6 p.m. Wednesday evening. I'm your host, Ryan Holiday Patterson. 24 seconds in, and everybody knows what the show is about, man. We got a great, great, great show. Because it's going to be something different. We give you something that we feel that no one else provides within the 901 or within anywhere. We're that unique with it. Like, because Memphis is a very unique city with a very unique background. Yeah. So yeah, we got a different setup. This is the Mob Mobile. So if I sound a little different, it looks a little different. We're doing a little different thing, but we will not allow this to prevent the message from getting. All right. So does Memphis deserve or need reparations? Or for the most part, do black people need reparations? I don't, before we can answer the question fully, don't we have to understand what reparations are? All right? Because it's a root word. It's repairing things. So, but the first thing that people run to and the first thing that people think about is cash, money. That's not what reparations is. That's not what's going on. That's not what councils are being made for. But many people comment on these things without doing any research. And it's not just reparations. I feel like many conditions in America haven't been researched, right? Because, like I always tell you all, 70% of Americans are not in favor of reparations. And you're entitled to your opinion. You can feel how you want to feel about it. But I still want to make points about this, right? Because I think people are missing the big picture. So, right on everybody's nose, we just get into it. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe. You already know. I never remind y'all, so we had to put it at the bottom of the screen. You all know it's the mob 6 p.m. every Wednesday, but hit the like button, people. We're trying to get the word out, subscribe, share it. We appreciate you. We appreciate the love thus far. But yeah, Memphis right now, there's been a budget cut to investigate reparations and understand, are we in need of reparations? Are the conditions being made? Have they been made by a number of things? They're going to vote on that. We're going to get into that. What those things may be that could put, black people, melanated people in the condition that they are in these places and these things that we talk about week in, week out. For the most part, we talk about it day in and day out. Anyway, let's get to the first council. Chad Ma, don't be shy. I know we at 6:30. I know y'all gonna be quiet tonight because it's 6:30. All right, here's the council meeting. Check this out, y'all. Held in Memphis, discussion about reparations. We'll get back to it. Fair use. Oh, sorry about that.
Print of that trauma, trying to figure out how we're going to make it in a system that made us where you sense the fear of black men towards can look a white man in his eye because his dad and his granddaddy was told, if you look this man in his eye, that he's stand to die.
Topping the news at 5, an age-old debate over reparations for descendants of slaves.
Shout out to Charlie Caswell for that energy he brought to that debate. We'll get more into it. Chad Ma, what it do? I'll let you.
Fireworks in Memphis. The Shelby County Commission has approved $5 million to start a reparations program, but it comes with plenty of opposition. Good evening, and thank you for joining us. I'm Greg Hurst. Stephanie is on assignment. WRG's Alex Coleman tells us why some people drew a line in the sand in this ongoing debate over racial injustice and slavery.
In Memphis and other cities, it's a question that usually sparks emotion. Should African Americans be paid reparations to remedy centuries of racial injustice and slavery?
This proposal is just wrong. It's plain wrong. It should be noxious to the American mind and soul when our government officials implement programs that divide people based on race.
I wanted to talk about Tyree Nichols.
All right, so and this is how many white people feel. That is, by paying black people reparations, you're dividing the country because you're targeting a certain group of people, right? All right, which is fine. It's just fine. This is how they feel. You know what I'm saying? But I think you've done much research. This is what the mob is here for. I digress.
White people aren't getting murdered by police. That's systemic racism. Systemic racism is real. Check your privilege, please. You have a lot of work to do.
Shelby County Commissioners met Wednesday to discuss a resolution to set aside $5 million to study reparations. It'll address areas such as affordable housing, health care, the criminal justice system, career opportunities, and wealth. The resolution was approved, but not before some heated...
$5 million put to the side to investigate the current conditions right now. But no decision's been made. Right? So there was money just to investigate why we are here. Now, I want to say this before I continue the clip. Many of you all ask me what the hell is going on. All the time. All Memphis ask me what the hell is going on in our city. So, but you don't have time. You have a job. You got a family. You couldn't figure out what is really going on with the youth, with the city right now, with some of the things that we see, right? So, that being said, reparations, the funding was to figure that out and find out. $5 million. Now, before you get to the $5 million, before you say, those are my tax dollars, you gotta figure out where it came from and why. We'll get into it.
Personally, I see this resolution as un-American in a lot of ways. I don't think it really, I believe it would not help the black people, but rather it would hurt them. That's the way I see it. And I think the money would be much better spent with workforce initiatives and finding ways to elevate.
My mother's cousin, a black man, whose father was one of the presidents of Morehouse, was lynched. So don't tell me I'm un-American. I've had grandfathers, my father, my daughter. We have generations of people who serve this country. Don't dare say I'm un-American.
The resolution also comes on the heels of widespread outrage over the police beating death of Tyree Nichols. One commissioner says the study is more than just about money.
It's not about just giving money to black folk. It ain't about just giving a black man a check or a black woman a check. It's about studying what we have failed to address and address it so we can move forward.
Thursday on WREG's Live at 9, Democratic Representative Antonio Parkinson said the reparations study is long overdue.
I applaud the Shelby County Commission for their courage, for their political courage to put this effort forward. Is needed, it's long past due, and I'm thankful to our county commissioners who have voted to put that money aside to ensure that reparations are studied for our people.
Alex Coleman, WREG TV, News Channel 3.
That's not actually the truth about them just making an extreme sacrifice for the right of melanated people. But, I mean, hey, good effort. I'll say that. Now, what people don't understand that many black people aren't in favor of getting money. Most black people are just like everybody else when it comes to reparations. We're not in favor of getting funded, right? But, bring up the study here. All right. I hope you all see this because, I'm not in my usual mode right now. But we have the number. And this is the majority of Americans based off race, black, white, say 75% for the most part don't feel like they'll ever see reparations come in their lifetime. Right? Which is okay. Okay. Okay, well, let's go to the next fact. Okay, go to the next stat. All right. Now, this is the data sheet performed by a study in Pennsylvania, I believe. But it's over the whole country and how they feel about reparations, right? So, with 70% of the country being against reparations, right? Find it ironic. But when asked, um, are black people in the U.S. Uh, affected by the legacy of slavery, right? 58% of the country feels that the condition of black Americans today is affected by slavery, which is confusing to say that 6 out of 4 Americans feel that the condition of people today is based off slavery, but yet 70%, 7 out of 10, feel that we don't deserve it. So that's the confusing part of it, right? Um, we got more. All right, so they asked what was more important, um, financial assistance for education, businesses and homes would be helpful for them. It's like they broke everything down. What would black people want the most, right? Educational scholarships, financial assistance for starting and repairing and your businesses, and financial money for loans and marketing and homes, right? And cash payments. So they broke it down in 4 categories. Cash payments was the least asked for by black Americans. So when everybody getting upset about reparations and where the money is coming from taxpayers, nobody wants money. I feel like we just want acknowledgement as to what happened. And then, okay, I'll get to this. I want to play this because I believe this white guy, this white dude right here, he represents how many Americans feel. And then there's a brother that comes on speaking too, and I think he represents another part of our culture. We'll get to it because I mean, everybody deserves a little piece, right? But just keep that in mind that we're not begging as a culture of people, because most people that are fighting for reparations are highly intelligent black people who know the history of America. And I think most people that are fighting against it don't know a damn thing. This is my opinion. All right, bring it down. Check this out. I think he represents the majority. Uh,
Pay your debts until the topic of reparations comes up. Have we reached such a privileged point in our society that we have to look into history in order to find things to fix rather than fixing problems that are right in front of us? The reason nobody talks about the debts of reparations is because the people who owe the debts are not alive. Now, y'all don't want to say it, but I'll say it because whatever. I'm white, right? But guess what? I don't owe you anything. I never owned anyone. I don't owe
black
you
man
anything.
clapping it up, right? Everybody's entitled to their opinion,
Nobody will say it, but I don't. Nobody is responsible for the crimes of their ancestors. If that's the case, then every single one of us would owe every single one of us something, because throughout history, every single person,
All
regardless.
right, so I want to talk about him, right? I don't know what cultural people he represents, but I think he would definitely be in favor of the LGBT community receiving their rights and all of their benefits, right? So it goes, it speaks to that, and it speaks to women. When people say that I never enslaved anybody and you weren't a slave, and so I don't have to do anything to fix that, my response is, okay, I've never abused women, I've never abused homosexuals, I've never bashed anyone. So what if my approach was, I don't owe any of them anything? Where would we be as a society if only the people that directly did things and the people that were directly affected by it only fixed problems? I mean, because a lot of rights, we can understand that women were oppressed for a very, very long time, right? And I asked you, who got women their rights? Men. Men that never abused women. See what I mean? Is it making sense? It doesn't. It's not when you're righting the wrong. It's not about blaming. I never enslaved anybody. Man, that where was this energy during like everybody else getting their reparation payments? Do we understand the natives, which I have no problem, they could never be paid back for what they went through. But do we understand that the natives do get payments? Where is this same energy when we're fighting for equality for everybody and people they break bread, they have grant programs for people all the time. Where is the same energy? Okay. That's all I had to say. I just want to understand, make it make sense, brother.
Has been owned.
Bingo. Let me remind you that we live in America. We literally have opportunities here that people are dying for. Does that mean that we shouldn't focus on bettering the system? No, that's not what I'm saying, so don't even try to go there. But if you're a Black American and you're living in America and you're focused on giving Black people reparations, you've missed it. The boat is gone and you've missed it. All the opportunities there. We do not need reparation. Well, we're owed it, the 50 acres and a mule. What you're talking about is Field Order 15 by General Sherman during the Civil War. And that was in like the southeast part of the country. A bunch of people want to talk about this as if, for one, the government actually did it, meaning Congress. No, it was a wartime order.
Yeah, the mob is in the southeast, my boy. Understand that.
All Black people. The government does not owe us, and white people do not owe us. The government does not owe us. White people do not owe us. The vast majority of white people were not even slaveholders. You have every opportunity here to go build the life you want to build. Stop letting people tell you you don't have the opportunity.
You see what I mean? It's always us. It's always us. It's a better way to have this discussion about a culture you connect with. Right? If you connect with the culture, is that your approach to it? I highly doubt it. And it's like people, why is it the energy is nobody owes you. White people don't owe you anything. Government owes you anything. All right, who killed Fred Hampton? Oh, who killed Malcolm X? Documented, right? Federal government. So many leaders have been locked up and killed, well, assassinated. In the name of making Black culture better. So it's not just slavery. It's many things. It's called acknowledgement. And people want to make it like we're sitting around blaming slave owners, thinking about slave owners, bro. This is crazy. It's not a handout. Like I told you, 70% of Black Americans who are in favor of reparations don't want cash. But if you understand things like redlining, gentrification, wage gap between Black and white families, it's just simple things, bro. You would be in more favor of these things. I just think many people have never taken the time out to do an investigation of it. All right, so other 30% of Americans who favored reparations, right? They were asked who had the responsibility of making the repayment or having the responsibility of fixing things. Who benefited the most from slavery, so to speak, right? The four options were the U.S. government, businesses and banks, colleges and universities, or families who engaged in the slave trade. And 75% of them said the federal government, though. So nobody's blaming slave owners, bro. What is wrong with people or families, bro, or businesses that understanding that the U.S. as a whole benefited from that, right? And we're just trying to investigate things. Now, let's get to that $5 million that everybody's so upset about. And we seen more spent on air conditioning for like buses in Memphis. But nevertheless, people are a little upset about it. So where did that 5 million come from, right? Let's check it out. Got a little something.
All statistics.
If I can get it there. Working with something today, y'all. Y'all work with me. All right. I can't get. All right. It can play. It's okay. Is it okay? It's choppy. Let me get this right. Anyway, um, where the money came from was a COVID relief fund that was left over, money that was left over for COVID. So it didn't come out of tax dollars, and it's COVID relief money in 2023. Nobody's. I mean, COVID is out there, but it's no longer a pandemic, right? But so everybody's worried about tax. Nobody wants tax dollars. But like I said, it's all about repairing the damage done. Um, all right. So they're like another response to that, right? When people say, "All right, you're the descendant, you weren't a slave," right? Let's say this. Let me break this down. If I'm killed in the act of my doing my job, right? Let's say a pilot dies on the job due to some plane malfunction of the company that he flies for, right? Who receives the payments? Like, so who receives the payments for the death of the pilot if he was to sue the company that he worked for? He's dead, so he can't get the payment. Who receives the payment? The family of the pilot, right? Right. Who else is going to get the money? Who else is going to reap the benefits in his name? You can't pay him. So when people say that you weren't a slave, so you don't deserve it, how could the slaves get paid? How could you right that wrong if you were trying to? If that was a goal, if the goal was to right the wrong that happened, how could you fix that, right? Who should get paid? If the pilot's there, you're gonna pay him in the grave. Hey, tell his daughter, you don't deserve that money. You didn't die. You did, or somebody that I'm beat in a coma. You still gonna pay me, or you gonna pay my family? You've acknowledged that you beat. You just don't feel that my family or my relatives. Just doesn't make sense to me. It just doesn't make sense. The whole idea that the energy towards us when it comes to this just doesn't make sense. Hey, get to it more. All right. So, like I said, when it comes to that, I want y'all to know it's not. This is bigger than just what I'm saying here, right? There are many forms of this because I feel like the same thing I'm exploiting right now. Terrence Howard mentioned it too. And it's like, who cares, bro? You got yours. But there are bigger things going on than just what we see on the surface. Um, this pertains to Memphis, but it's almost like how people get taken advantage of in that low point, in that moment. And this is how things are set up. Get into it, man. I'm sure this one here, I won't have any problems like this. Listen to Terrence Howard about how much y'all think he made for Hustle and Flow. This goes with the main story of reparations. Keep that in mind.
Of Hustle and Flow right here in Memphis, Tennessee. And you guys took the time to be on Live at 9 back in the day for that, man.
I just busted. I was on a plane coming back from Europe, and I popped a blood vessel in my eye. It had never happened before. I will never smoke that pot again.
You'll never do it again.
I'll never smoke that.
Obviously not, man. Obviously not. What comes to mind, though, when you think back on these days? And
I was on that gas.
in your life, did you have a gut feeling that this movie was going to be really transformative?
No, check this out. I made $12,000 for doing Hustle and Flow. And then on top of it, what Paramount did, instead of putting my name as Terrence Howard performing,
$12,000 for doing Hustle and Flow. 12 grand. Listen.
Right.
They put performed by DJ. Well, they own DJ. So guess what? The performance royalties went to Paramount. They went,
Wait a minute. They didn't go to Terrence Howard. They went to
$12,000. That's all I ever made from Hustle and Flow. Everything else went right back into Paramount. So now I got to sue Paramount or send them a
Paid him
letter.
$12,000, then took all his royalties, anything he could have got from the songs he performed, even though he didn't write them, he could have still. They didn't own them either. Right? It's all a hustle. Man, this is the game, though. This is the country. We live it.
Send them a letter to say, hey, you guys owe me about 20 years worth of residuals and performance royalties. But I didn't know. I was just trying to pay my rent then. I made $6,000 doing Crash. Crash didn't.
I remember the movie Crash. Yes, that's right. That's right.
The business don't pay actors anything. That's why the strike is going on. Actors are struggling.
As you and I were kind of joking earlier, it's hard out here for a pimp.
Yeah, it is hard unless you do it right.
Unless you do it right.
And I've never been good at being a pimp. You know, the pimp has to have a heart of stone. You know, and mine is made of flesh and blood, like everybody else. So I'm like, why can't we be fair to each other in the industry? Why is there this lack of equanimity? You know, so my wife started a thing called myholly.app, and it gives an opportunity for actors or entertainers around the world to now audition on their phone. You don't have to go to Hollywood.
Right.
You don't have to go to Tokyo or Singapore or any place. You can actually stay at home, stay in school, audition, keep your day job, and accomplish your dream.
So, Terrence, you're taking out the middleman, so to speak.
I want to get rid of the agents. I want to get rid of the managers. I want to get rid of the unions. SAG has done nothing. They sit up and say they're here for us. Now they're talking because they haven't gotten their money. When I went to SAG 5 years ago saying, hey, Fox stole my image from Hustle and Flow, and they're monetizing it. SAG didn't do anything to help me. They waited 9 months till the statute of limitations got. Oh, I'm sorry, you definitely got a statute of a rights of publicity issue. So they're not here to help the actors. They're here to make their money. A community of international artists that will all work together and support each other in this quest to